Hi, welcome. I want to take a few moments just to show you about Google Scholar. I'm going to jump in and share my screen here. And I've plugged into the address, it's scholar.google.com, but you can just go to Google and type in Google Scholar. And this is where I start all of my searches. I don't actually start my search for literature in the university library. I find that Google Scholar pulls from multiple databases, and so I don't have to discriminate between CINAHL versus PubMed. And then oftentimes the article is freely available via open access. And if it's not, then I just copy paste that really relevant article that I found through Google Scholar into my university library database, and I can log in and then get access to that PDF if it's not directly accessible through Google Scholar. I'm going to show you this really quick with an example, and then I'm going to briefly show you Google Scholar Labs, which is a new feature from Google. I don't know that everybody has um, access to it, but I have found it to be quite useful and pulling relevant articles for my research question. So I'm just going to give you a demo here. I study adolescent mental health promotion. My work is psychological capital, so I'm going to do that. And I'm going to say psychological capital. Ooh, if I can type psychological capital and adolescent and mental health. And I'm just going to see what happens. It's on here on articles, polling. And okay, so yeah, this is one of my studies, a systematic scoping review of psychological capital related to mental health in youth. You can see how you can filter out any time, or you can give a date range. You can sort by relevance or date, any type, and include citations. So this is just really cool. I want to show how many did it pull here? 800,000 results. And on this first page, Hero in Youth, this is a highly cited article. I've used it in my work. Very relevant studies are pulling up. Oh, yeah, this is actually one of my newer studies that just came out. But again, let's see if it lets us go through. I didn't anticipate it to do that. Verify you are human. And you can just go straight from there to the publishing company. And this is the journal Clinical Child Psychology and Psychiatry. Here's the article. It was just published March, and it has the whole study here online because this is an open access article. If you wanted the PDF, finding that PDF is going to be different based on each journal. This one, you can see right here the PDF button. And voila, it's going to pop up with this. And then from this page, you can actually hit download. And now it's gone into my downloads. And then if I click that, it's going to allow me to save it to my computer. So that is so easy, so fast. I really like Google Scholar. I'm going to do one more demo. I'm just trying to press back here to see if there's an example. But all of these are very closely related to the keywords I put in there, psychological capital and adolescent and mental health. So this was kind of this is my dependent variable that I'm interested in. This is my population, and this is that independent variable. So if I was to do the study, that's kind of what I was thinking about. Okay, let's see if this one is available. This again, this is the publishing company, Springer Nature. This is the journal, Child Psychiatry and Human Development, and this is the article name. Um, Here's the authors. So I'm trying to see, sometimes it's not as easy to see where you can access it. So I want to get access to this article. Cite it. Okay. So this is a preview of subscription content. So this is not like, look, it's asking me to pay for it, all the things. So let's see if I can log in via institution, cookie message, find your institution. So here we are. Boom. and look at that access provided, and it shows the university library there. Download PDF button has now become available, and look, it's popped up with my downloads. And here it is. And from this page, this is where I could hit this button and it would actually download to my computer. So two examples, one where open access was available and one where I was able to log in from the actual journal site and get access to something that's usually locked down. But I probably was already logged in, so you may have had to log in through your institutional access. Another thing, okay, so I also want to take a minute to go to Google Scholar Labs, and I am going to show you that, how it looks slightly different than Google Scholar. I think both of these are absolutely worth trying out for your next time you're looking for an article. And this one is different because you can just go, it says ask a detailed research question. And so I'm going to say, is psychological capital related to adolescent mental health? I'm going to change it to, does psychological capital impact adolescent mental health? Let's see if there's any studies that are looking more longitudinally that impact. Okay. Does psychological capital predict mental health symptoms? Look at that. Look how closely this study matches that research question. Mm. And here's another one. Gender moderates the mediating effect of psychological capital between physical activity and depressive symptoms. Moderating role of psychological capital. And you can see how this actually, this lit review dropped a little bit further down. And it's giving these are little AI summaries from the articles as well. So really cool. Oh, and this one pulled up in here too, determined psychology is significantly associated with mental health. So it's clarifying that it's not trying to say there's an impact, but there's an association. You need additional longitudinal studies to discuss impact. I'm going to also change my question, and I want to ask a question about nurse staffing. A lot of you guys talked about nurse staffing in your library search assignment. What is the best nurse staffing ratio for patient safety? Should we do patient safety or burnout? Let's go burnout for reducing burnout. In the US, I'm going to put that discriminator because the health model system in the US is different than in a lot of other countries. So I want to specifically pull data that relates to the US. And let's see what happens. This isn't typically my line of research, so I'm excited to see what pulls up. Patient to nurse ratios, balancing quality, nurse turnover, and cost. Okay, here's another one. Lower burnout among hospital nurses in California attributed to better nurse staffing ratios. How does the patient to nurse ratio relate to the quality of patient care and nurse burnout in the hospital? Burnout syndrome and nurse to patient ratio in the workplace. So you can see these studies are very, very relevant. And it does pull, I want to say 10 studies to begin with. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. And this is just a really quick way to get right to the kind of articles that are going to be beneficial to what you are wondering about. And you could enter your PICO right in there, and it's going to just pull really relevant information. Again, the same thing applies. It's already showed through Springer Nature that I've been logged in. So now I'm not having to hit that access button, and it's already giving me access to download that PDF on that one. Let me see if there's another one where I encounter a challenge. Let's see this one. This is from 2025. This is open access. Sage has a agreement with a lot of universities, so they publish open access. So again, you just click that PDF button right there, and then you're able to download from there. And then let's just do one more. I'm trying to see if I encounter anything that I'm not able to get into. Okay, so this is not, I'm glad this pulled up. This is actually a thesis. So this is somebody's senior thesis. This is not a peer-reviewed article, so it really wouldn't be appropriate. It's interesting. It has so many downloads. That's actually quite impressive. But that would not be appropriate for making decisions because it's not been peer reviewed. Here's another one, same thing. Not, this is not a publication company. It has a lot of downloads though. It's interesting. And you can see it kind of shows you that it's somebody's student work, some kind of thesis they published by that edu at the end. Again, ProQuest, this is another non-peer-reviewed paper it's pulling. So this is good to talk about because that wouldn't be appropriate for making decisions. Let's see what this pulls. And this, again, this is not a peer-reviewed paper. Um, is it useful? Yes, but it's also different. So Wiley is a publication company. So I'm anticipating that this would be a peer-reviewed article. Hopefully it pulls up here in just a moment. That one's not going. Odd. Okay. All right, we're gonna try one for. JAMA is a very reputable journal. Okay, JAMA, here we go. It pulled up. Let's see. Over here on the left, you can see how each different publisher, their location for the PDF is different. You just got to look for the little icon in the name PDF. Oh, sign in, access through your institution. And I'm going to see if we have access. Let's see. Boom, we do. And here we go. Now it should be that I'm logged in. I can see over here access provided. So it's got me hooked up. Hit PDF this time. And what's going to happen? There it is. So that is the trick to gaining access to articles very quickly and not directly through the university website. And oftentimes you're going to find what you need is actually already available and you don't even have to log in. So I hope this was helpful to you both now in the class, but also in the future.